All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode, the third episode of Brothers on the Green, brought to you by PGA Tour Dice. And I do not have a Twitter yet. We'll call me Bob for now. But we appreciate everybody joining back in. It's Players Week. This is an exciting week, an exciting time of golf. We had a nice elevated event last week. It was fun coming down the stretch. We'll recap that a little bit today and, get into our picks, talk a little bit about Sawgrass, and, go from there. But, Dice, you want to get us started?
Yeah, so I mean, just sort of to build off what you said with recapping at the Bay Hill a little bit. So obviously, Henley went ahead and took it away from Morikawa the last couple holes there on Sunday, and I mean, obviously, Henley's been a guy that I feel like all year has been playing great, sort of being in contention on Sunday, but not quite really breaking through. But it seemed like obviously, had that moment on 16 where he chipped in. I feel like that really probably shocked Colin, just like one up all day, hasn't trailed in, probably 36 holes at that point, all of a sudden being one back with 15 feet to tie it. So Hanley went ahead and took it, but, like you said, another really good elevated event, but definitely sort of ready to move on to the players. Nothing really turned out too great for us last week. We did have Rose top 20 that hit at plus 400, which, solid hit, but outside of that, a couple guys really slipped down after a strong start the first 36 holes.
Yeah, right. I mean, Henley was very impressive. That golf course is one that, coming into the green does not really suit him in terms of pretty much any shot out there. He couldn't get within 20 feet to a tucked pin, right? He was just taking his pars all day and
Yep.
took advantage of the holes he could, right? 14 was really the big swing
Par
when,
three.
yeah, Henley hit it to like 9 feet, which was the closest shot all day. And then Morikawa tried to muscle a 6 iron up there and short-sided himself.
Yep.
And that was the big change there. Henley, that was a nice hit. Henley, I got plus 1100 for birdie on 14, which was nice.
There you go. Yeah.
But that was the big change right there. And then that chip in obviously just took all the momentum to Henley's side, and it was really over from there.
Well, we saw the chip in too on the broadcast about they cut through it after he actually hit the ball and it was just rolling in. So I mean they did show the replay obviously, but it was one of their
Classic
blunders.
NBC. I mean, they are just really not good at what they do. This week is their best week. Players, they treat it a little more serious, but
Like a major, it's their most important tournament.
to have that many commercials and then not show the most important shot of the entire event is, yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
But Colin just couldn't make a putt on Sunday.
Yeah.
Justin Rose is our one positive, and also 4-0 and two balls for the week, so that's something to look for. Guys got some momentum in his group.
And books just disrespect him every time.
Yeah, no, they do. He's a pro. He knows how to grind. He knows how to put up the score. And our guy Lowry really fumbled the bag on Saturday. So it is what.
And Lowry was yeah, he did it Saturday too, but Thomas too. I mean, he was taking advantage of Lowry sort of taking a couple steps back at first, got the 5 under standing on 6T on Saturday, just one back of the lead, proceeds to just dump one in the water, lose all his momentum, and I mean just basically shoot himself out of the tournament right after looking like the best player the first, 36, 40 holes of the tournament, but that's just it seems like a hurdle he's got to get over like a couple other guys, but just JT, I mean, he's hitting the ball so well, just can't take advantage of it for a full 72 hole stretch, ever it seems like.
Yeah. And then, Keegan had obviously a sick last round.
Yeah.
Straka is a machine, right? Michael Kim, guys playing like he did when he was an amateur. Yeah, he might be back, which is cool to see. Jason Day, solid, right? And then Fleetwood, classic, nice weekend round right after shooting himself out on Thursday.
Just naturally.
But all right, let's get into the players. We'll talk a little bit about the course, right? I mean, everybody knows this course. If you're a PGA Tour guy, right, everybody knows this track very well. I heard they added like 70 yards to it, right? So really not much difference.
Couple tee shots.
Yeah, a couple more tee boxes on like par fives and whatnot. It's a tough course, but it's fair, right? If you're hitting the ball well, there's plenty of birdies to be made, right?
Yeah.
Even if it does get a little bit firm and fast, there's still a lot of birdie holes out there, right? Obviously, a lot of bogey holes if you just miss the fairway by a foot,
Yeah.
but it is scoreable, right? Par fives are reachable, and then it's just one of those places that you don't know what's going to happen, right? Because you got guys that win it, they miss the cut for the next 2 years, etc. So, it's a tough week to bet, right? To really get a good outlook on.
Field, 156 in the field or whatever.
Yeah, and it's a full field, which I
It's
like. We're gonna put out a make the cut parlay on Wednesday once those odds come out. That's a fun little section to look into, and you can get some decent odds there as well.
yeah.
All right, so who do we want to discuss first? You want to go through the
Yeah, I'll go
odds a
over
little
the
bit?
odds a little bit. So obviously, starting at the top, we got Scotty plus 400, Rory plus 1100, Colin 14, Ludwig 18. Then we get to the 20 range, JT 22, Xander 25. So I mean, Xander went from 18 last week up to 25 this week. Fleetwood still 30, starting the 30 range. Fleetwood, Hideki 33. And then as we move down a little bit, I mean, we got Hovland all the way down to 7,500, McNeely around there, Burns down at around 80 to 1. So, I mean, it's very spread out board in terms of can get some nice value, some elite players down sort of the latter part of the board.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we got a lot of guys that are in form, right? We
Mhm.
were just talking about JT. I do like JT this week. The putter is the problem, and he definitely, he has some good memories here in terms of making important putts and having
People just
some
don't win
wins.
more than once off. That's the only thing that scares. I feel like there's that. I've heard a bunch that people just haven't tend to win more than once at the players. Obviously, Scotty just went back to back, but I mean in general, like it seems
Yeah,
like people tend to not win. But JT, like you said, he's in great form. If he's gonna have one of those weeks, it's probably gonna be soon when he's hitting the ball this well. It's just that's just the one thing that I've seen that sort of like makes me a bit you know
oh, and that makes sense, right? It's that type of course. You really, no matter if you're playing well coming in, playing bad coming in, it really does not have a bearing on what the week's going to look like.
yeah.
JT, he's pretty much in like his second career. I feel like at this point in terms of the struggles, right? He hasn't won since the 22 PGA. I don't know the last time he won a regular PGA Tour event, but he's in a spot where he's finally swinging it well again.
So well.
Yeah, so that's JT is my top guy right now. We'll get into the picks in a little bit.
Yeah.
Fleetwood, he's due, right? I mean, everyone says that he's due.
You
This
have to imagine.
this is the type of course that he would play well at. Definitely will get something going with him. And again, Straka. Straka interests me. I know a lot of people are on him this week, but you saw him on that back nine on Sunday. He did not miss hit an iron shot. I mean, he
That
was
shot on 15 was so pure. Like
yeah.
I feel like nobody was really letting it stick there, and he just does it out of the first cut. It was so pure.
Yeah, no, he did. Wyndham interests me, right? Second last year, solid start last week. Had
Yeah.
some caddy changes going on. It seemed like a little bit of a weird situation with Ellis, but he he's good to go now. I like him this week. He's another guy plus 6,000, solid odds, right? Daniel Berger, another guy. Last week Thursday played terribly in the morning. And then he was probably top five the last 3 rounds in terms of strokes, right under par. He was very, very solid after that.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a fun week. You never know.
Yeah.
And what about Cam Young plus 17,000?
He's so bad. I mean,
Let's
uh,
hope this is the bottom of the barrel for the kid.
yeah, I mean, you would hope, but I mean, he's untouchable. I'm completely not going anywhere near his name this week. I'll probably still watch to see how bad he plays or if he has an AirPod in, but he's I mean, he's a lost cause right now. He's going through it mentally, it seems like.
That's to say the least. Yeah, he does not seem comfortable over any golf shot right now.
Not at all.
All
But
right, so you want to get into the picks?
yeah, I mean, you want me to run through a couple of my outrights to start, and then I could also we'll go over like each other's outrights first, and we'll just take it from there with a couple other plays.
Yeah.
All right. So for the week, I sort of went a bit more. I didn't touch too much near the top of the odds boards. I do have Ludwig. I think he's again just in such great form. His first time playing here last year, he was one of the best ball strikers in the field. Just didn't really putt too well. And then I mean, this last week he didn't. He had his one really bad round on Saturday. Those two water balls on 8. But outside of that, he's still striking it well in top form. And I think this is a course that fits him. Also, I think I saw that he lives in the area now, or like he at least been practicing there a good amount lately. So I think that's obviously going to be a benefit as well, being around the course. So I love him at plus 1800. And then in terms of like filling out the card, I also got Canley. I think at plus 4000, that's enough juice to take him. I still think he's playing well. I still think that he's one of those guys that's not afraid to win once it gets to that point on a Sunday if he can get himself in that position. But just a matter of time until he closes one out again. Again, he's just too good of a talent to go this long without winning. And then below that, I got McNeely plus 7,500. This more so just how well he's been playing overall for the year. I'm not how well did he play last week? Did he make the cut?
McNeely, no, he shot like 80 on Friday. He did not play
Oh, good.
well.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, McNeely obviously didn't play the best last week, but going a bit earlier this year, and then also going back to last year, I feel like he's been in great form, and he's one of those guys that's on the brink of winning one of these bigger events. And I think it can come this week if he can get the putter hot and just keep striking it how he has been. Another guy like Burns plus 8,000, I think again, just really good number for how good of a player he can be. Round one last week, I mean, I feel like he lost. I think it was 6 strokes on approach. So I mean, that was pretty atrocious. But he still, I mean, made the cut, battled back, played like decent the rest of the week. And then I mean, I just think if his putter gets hot and he's striking it decent, he's one of those guys that he can go get it on a Sunday. And the last guy in terms of the longest shot I got is Brian Harman plus 11,000. I just think, for the, he's an Open champion winner. He's played well here last year, came in second place, had a putt on 18 to tie Scotty. Just too big of a number. And I think, he's playing a bit better. I saw a couple things about him last week where he was striking it a bit better. I just think he's been a bit slow with the putter this week. But again, you saw him at the Open Championship. He's one of those guys that can get hot with the putter at any point. And if that happens, he's a striker at times, especially at a course like this where distance I don't feel is like the most important thing, more about being in the fairways.
Yeah, no, those are four solid picks, right? Harmon is a guy I could relate to, right? A short man,
Yeah.
a guy that likes to grind out in the golf course. So I appreciate the Brian Harmon pick, and it's something that this is a golf course that fits Harmon because he's under control of his golf ball,
Mhm.
right? He knows when he's swinging well, at least, right? He's
That,
been a little more hit or miss the last 6, 7 months, and a lot of it is because of that putter, right? Like you said. So I can get behind that pick. So recap, just say your four picks.
yeah.
People
So
know.
recap overall was Canley 40 to 1 plus 4,000, McNeely 75 to 1 plus 7,500, Burns plus 8,000, and then Harmon plus 11,000.
Perfect. I'm just texting our degenerate friends here. Any locks for the Brothers on the Green podcast? Just to give them a quick shout out. All right. So I got a couple outrights here. I'm going to where Dice was going last week. I got JT this week. Like you said, he's striking his irons phenomenal. It's a course he's played very well at, right? In all sorts of conditions, firm, soft, windy, right? I believe it was pre-COVID, right before COVID, they had one of the windiest players ever, and that I think that is the one that he ended up winning. But I could see him really playing well this week and giving himself a good chance come Sunday. Really just comes down to making his 3 to 5 footers and then making one or two 15+ footers around. If he could do that, he could shoot 3, 4 under a day without a doubt.
Yeah, so many looks every day, like just how well he's been hitting his iron. Just like you said, if he makes a couple of those 10 to 15 footers and can make the 3 to 5 footers for par to save, he's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah. And then so now we can go to my guy Shane Lowry. All right. Just spoke about how he was a little mentally weak on Saturday, right? Has not played well with a lead in the States really at all, except when Rory McIlroy is his partner, which seems to help a little bit. But if he figures out this driver, which all it's going to take is one good day, he's playing great golf. I mean, this guy has full control of his iron game, full control of his wedges and his chipping. His putter is a little bit streaky.
Freaky, yeah.
So it's going to be come down to his driving and his putting, which is most guys on the PGA Tour. But
Yeah.
I could definitely see him sneaking in there.
Yeah.
Last play, I got an outright market, and this is just getting added to the card now, is Wyndham Clark. Wyndham Clark plus 6,000. I really don't even like the guy. I think he's an absolute douche, to be honest. He is so cocky and so over his head, but he's playing good golf. If he could just keep his comments to himself this week, I think that'll be a big asset for Wyndham Clark. Just play your game. Nobody cares what you think, and go win a golf tournament. He's a stud on the golf course, and he's a great putter. I mean, a great putter. So
When he gets going with the putter, like I feel like anything from 20 feet in is just firm in the center of the
it's
cup.
it's at least hitting the edge.
I know.
So I got JT outright picks for me this week. JT,
JT's what,
Lowry,
2,200?
JT 2,200 on FanDuel, Lowry 4,000, and Wyndham Clark plus 6,000.
All right. I like it.
Right. So those are
Yeah.
my three outrights for now. Hopefully Dice doesn't tell me to live bet Victor Hovland in the second round again this week, and then he misses the cut.
He was just, I mean, I've never seen Hovland putt that bad. I feel like everything when we're looking for his game, it's like if he has the irons and the driver going, it's like, all right, that it's sort of showing signs of being back. Then all of a sudden he loses 5, 6 strokes putting. It's just like,
That was
all
crazy. I mean, I guess
right,
he's switching coaches too much. They forgot to talk about putting, probably.
just too much of a mental case still. He's just too much in his own way, like mentally.
Yeah, I could see him being a decent like top 20 guy, but to win, to put 4 rounds together like that, and the mental state he's in will definitely be tough.
Yeah.
All
It's
right, so
not.
I'll get started with the top 20s.
uh,
So I got a few. I'm gonna do four top 20s. All right, I'm a top 20 guy, and then I'm gonna do one top 20 parlay. So let's start off with Joel Damon plus 500. He came T11 here last year. He's playing some of his most consistent golf he has in probably years. And he's a guy really. It all comes down to putting. He's an incredibly consistent ball striker, tee to green, on a week in week out basis. He can get into some terrible putting slumps. I mean, terrible. So if that happens, obviously that's a problem. But I do like Joel Damon this week to give himself a good chance on Sunday to get a top 20. All right, so the second top 20 we're looking at this week, and a little technical difficulties there, but it's all right. We talked about Joel Damon. Now we're going to talk about Jason Day, right? Just in a great state of mind coming into the week in terms of his golf game. Feels very comfortable out there, it looks like. And then Sunday last week he played all right, grinded it out, and I think he's in the spot to really just play some solid golf throughout the week. So
he was right in it. Then he just had the water ball in 16,
true.
mud ball.
Yeah. No, that he was right there, and then that was just a bad mud ball, but a bad swing, and
I
I'm
know, and
sure a lot of it.
he's using the new like lab type of putter that TaylorMade's making, like the lab
True.
golf,
Yeah.
like the weight balance or whatever.
Yep. So I got Joel, Jason Day, and then Adam Scott will be my last pick this week, top 20. Just a guy I think is going to play well this week. He's been playing decent lately. Nothing too impressive, but he's in a spot where, he's hitting it well enough, he's putting well enough that he puts it together. Top 20 is obviously easily attainable.
Yeah,
And then my top 20 parlay is Daniel Berger, Tommy Fleetwood, and Justin Thomas plus 1581. That's I do honestly feel very good about that. As do you with every bet to start the week. But
yeah, I love all that stuff. I think definitely with Scott, I mean, Adam, it comes down to his putting. If he could putt, he's gonna stripe it,
yeah,
for the most part. But if he's rolling it a little bit, he can, not only make top 20, obviously, but probably contend a little bit.
without a doubt.
And then for my top 20s, I got a couple as well. Like you said, it's a bit more of your thing, but just to, give a couple for the week and some I'll also be playing. First one, I like Tom Kim plus 240. I just think, for his again caliber of player, he's been in a couple events this year near the top of the leaderboard. This is a type of course, similar to my Harmon play. It's going to tumble out a little bit, doesn't have to be the deepest off the tee, and he can get hot with the putter. So I think definitely at 240, a nice number for Tom Kim. Then secondly, I got Nick Taylor plus 290. he's had a good history at these, Pete Dye type of courses. So I think 290, again, not the longest player, but can really dial in the irons and can roll it. Think a good number for him there. Then I got Horschel at a plus 360. Again, I know he had a tough week last week at Bay Hill. Don't think it's the best course for him, just in terms of his style of game. But I still think he's a Florida guy. I think, he's played well with the players in the past, and definitely at 360, I'm sure he's motivated to have a better week in his home state, compared to what he did last week.
Yeah, I
And then,
like it. You're taking guy. Oh, you got one more? Sorry, you got one more.
no, you're all good. But for the last one, quickly, I got Christian. How do you say?
Zayn who?
Yeah, plus 280. He has a good course history. I know we said it doesn't matter the most, but again, he played pretty well last week. I think he could roll it as well, pretty similar to all these other top 20 guys, and just a solid number for how he's playing coming into the week. But what were you going to say about one of them?
No, so I was just gonna recap my top 20. Right, I got Jay Day, I got Joel Damon,
Yep.
I got Adam Scott, and then you got.
I got Tom Kim, I got Nick Taylor, I got Billy Horschel, and I got Bazan Hoot. Plus
Yeah,
two.
and I was gonna say you're taking guys not in fantastic form, but I like that. It's a week where you don't
Yeah,
have to be in great form coming in. One good round, you're right in the tournament, and Tom Kim's
exactly.
playing decent, Bazane Hoot's playing decent. And
I agree.
Horschel.
Horschel and Taylor both not in the best form, but I
No,
just think
Taylor's playing well. I like Taylor's form. His putting wasn't great last week. I had him in a couple
yeah.
two balls.
He did play well a couple rounds. I think I
Yeah,
forget what he finished at, but I know he played well a little bit.
so it's going to be a good players week. We'll be
Yeah.
tweeting PGA Tour Dice. Hopefully, gets another viral tweet or two.
My we have Wyndham to thank for that. Just a nice sneak in the bag, looking to see what Burns hit on 17. So
Morikawa
obviously,
should have done that on
reality,
14.
it's not a big deal. I said in the tweet everyone doesn't, but I think it just it's one of those that caught wind and just everybody saw it was great.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll be keeping up on our Twitter, and we'll see everybody next week.
Yeah. All right. See ya.